The attention is focused on who won the political battle, but questions remain over what the economic impact is going to be. The political agreement has removed the immediate risk of the US defaulting on its debts by allowing it to borrow more money to pay its bills. But will the default issue rear its head again in the future? The political stalemate has unsettled financial markets and endangered Washington's coveted AAA credit status. The Fitch credit agency has said it's not going to cut that rating, though. But if any of the other agencies do, it could make it harder for the US to borrow money on international markets. And the cuts the deal puts in place over the next 10 years have ignited a debate in the US over whether that will affect growth in the economy. I've been speaking to Diana Furchtgott-Roth, who is the director of the Center for Employment Policy at the Hudson Institute and former chief economist for the US Department of Labor under the George W. Bush administration. She told me the deal doesn't cut enough spending.
We have 1.5 trillion deficit this year. And what the deal does is it cuts 2.1 trillion of spending over a 10-year period. So it's only $500 billion more than we have in deficit right now. It's only about $25 billion cuts to the fiscal year 2012 budget. In order for us to satisfy the requirements of the ratings agencies, such as Moody's, we need to be cutting far more drastically than we have in this agreement.
Right. The reality is that you're not going to satisfy Moody's and the like here, are you?
Well, they asked for $4 trillion worth of cuts over the next 10 years. We have given them $2 trillion with this agreement.
Right, but the Republicans are saying this is a great triumph for us. So the likelihood of any greater a cut was that was never very realistic, was it?
I suppose it's too realistic to believe that politicians are going to behave rationally, but the truth is America is borrowing 40 cents out of every dollar that it spends. That's 40 pence out of every pound. And it's an unsustainable situation. It can't go on. This is a good first step, because at least our spending is about the same as it was last year. But we really need to be looking down the road, thinking, how do we cut Social Security? How do we cut Medicare? How do we gradually raise the retirement age?
Right, and I suppose
we're not doing that yet.
Yeah, I suppose those are all questions that President Obama in particular would like to put back till after another election. Do you think he will have achieved that much?
I think that probably it's not going. The debt ceiling is going to be extended until after the next election, so he won't have to face that. But Paul Ryan, chairman of the House Budget Committee, and in the House budget, has already proposed changes in Medicare, and changes in Social Security will probably also be discussed.
Right. The upshot, I suppose, from an American citizen's perspective, is that it's a plague on all your houses, isn't it? No one seems to trust Washington in the least. All politicians are branded as part of the same dirty business now. What does that mean for Washington, for the reputation, if you like, of the fundamentals on which your country is built?
Well, fortunately, the fundamentals on which the country is built have never resulted in giving a lot of power or prestige to politicians. That's why the Founding Fathers had this system of checks and balances, where it's easy for one branch, such as the judiciary, the presidential branch called the executive, or the congressional branch, to stop any other. That's why this agreement has taken so long to push through. But congressional approval is at an all-time low. President Obama's ratings are at an all-time low, and fortunately it's the private sector in America that carries the day. People believe in business, they believe in the power of economic mobility, that they can pull themselves up by their own bootstraps. They don't believe, and they have never believed, that politicians can solve anything, and the past few days have proved that indeed they could not.
Diana Furchtgott-Roth. The crackdown in Syria